Vance can fuck off. We don't want him in the Cotswolds, and we don't want him in the UK. How dare he open his chubby fat gob and criticize the UK? JD Vance's latest lavish vacation in the UK is pissing off British locals, and they have taken to taking the right piss out of JD Vance. But y'all, that is not even the worst or most humiliating part of Vance's holiday fiasco, because on top of facing an ice-cold reception as he kicks off British MAGA Summer, he is still getting flack for having the Army Corps of Engineers raise the water levels of Ohio's Little Miami River so his birthday boating trip could be a bit wetter at the expense of the climate and taxpayers. And then just today, he continued to fuel Trump's Epstein wildfire by unwittingly giving MAGA even more ammo against Trump on Fox News of all places.
We know that Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of connections with left-wing politicians and left-wing billionaires, and now President Trump has demanded full transparency from this.
So drop a like if you agree with our friends across the pond that fascism should be fought both domestically and abroad, and subscribe to Really American to become a part of our global resistance. And let's start with JD showing us the art of Trumpian diplomacy and kicking off his MAGA British Summer by shitting on both sides.
Well, I'd say I've raised concerns about free speech in the United States of America. I think the entire collective West, the transatlantic relationship, our NATO allies, certainly the United States under the Biden administration, got a little too comfortable with censoring rather than engaging with a diverse array of opinions. So that's been my view. Obviously, I've raised some criticism and concerns about our friends on this side of the Atlantic, but the thing that I'd say to the people of England or to anybody else, to David, is many of the things that I worry most about were happening in the United States from 2020 to 2024. I just don't want other countries to follow us down what I think was a very dark path under the Biden administration.
Oh, the very dark path of the Biden administration. Okay, remember that comment, because nothing says vacation mode like shitting on your own country and the UK and calling for free speech while your regime jails innocent civilians while supporting the war crimes of Russia and Israel by quite literally bending over for both of their fascist leaders to put their manhoods right in your rotund rectum. Oh God, look at me getting political. Sorry folks, back to the culturally relevant point of JD Vance sucking and everyone knowing it, including that man he was talking to earlier. You see, that is the UK's Foreign Minister David Lammy, who's previously accused MAGA of being led by a neo-Nazi sympathizer. And again, it's not just us saying these things, it's damn near everyone. First, you have the protest we saw a bit of earlier. A large, defiant crowd gathered outside on 8th August at a police roadblock outside Chevening House to protest the presence of U.S. Vice President JD Vance. They were there to condemn his visit as a symbol of complicity in war crimes and highlighting the UK government's deepening crackdown on dissent. Sound familiar? Here are a handful of videos of some true patriots in the UK exercising their God-given right to civil disobedience. Catchy tune. Here is another angle. I do have to say, very British of these people to simply tell JD Vance, "You shall not pass." They also repeated, "UK welcome, no chance," idol JD Vance, "David Lammy, you can't hide, you're supporting side," and "fascism equals terrorism, JD Vance out," as you can see in this beautiful picture right here. And as if that wasn't bad enough, JD Vance and his war criminal buddies went on to have fancy lunches while Israel is busy starving Gaza. And people weren't too happy about that either, needless to say. Vice President JD Vance kicked off his summer vacation at a luxurious $11,000 a week manor house in the picturesque British countryside, leaving locals none too pleased, as we saw. Located in a tiny village in the Cotswolds in the southwest of England, one of the United Kingdom's 4 constituent countries, the property sits behind a 15-foot stone wall and boasts gardens of about 6 acres. Yeah, that coupled with Trump's ballroom, it's giving, let them eat cake. It was also reported that a temporary helipad was installed in one of the adjoining fields with a team of gardeners brought in to spruce up the place ahead of time. And Vance has been critical of the UK in the past, calling the country some random country that hasn't fought a war in 30 or 40 years. But here's where things get good, because his dreams of an idyllic summer break in the British countryside, however, might well evade him if local protest groups get their way. Quote, JD Vance is every bit as unwelcome in the UK as Donald Trump. The Stop Trump Coalition protest organization, which picketed President Donald Trump's visit to Scotland earlier last month, said of the VIP's trip. And you'll likely remember those glorious protesters. We remember how Vance cut short his ski trip in Vermont because he was so enraged by the sight of a few protesters, the group said.
Yeah, let me get you guys. 1, 2, 3. Yep. JD, how does it feel being Putin's puppet?
We are sure that even in the Cotswolds, he'll find the resistance waiting. And that seems accurate because less than 14% of British adults hold a favorable view of Vance according to the latest polls. One person saying, hey, JD Vance, seems a pity you're in England enjoying our hospitality when you don't like our values. And another user described him as an all-American crusader who spent months railing against the UK and Europe as a corrupt, Islamized cesspool without redemption, only to turn around and splash out 10.8k a week on a posh Cotswold manor. But in JD's defense, those couches in the Cotswolds are ridiculously On that note, someone said Vance can off. We don't want him in the Cotswolds and we don't want him in the UK. How dare he open his chubby fat gob and criticize the UK? Nice. And I love that they include this part. While Vance's visit has not so far provoked the level of public demonstrations witnessed by Trump's trip to Scotland, there's still plenty of time left ahead of his departure on August 17th. And you know for a fact we will be covering everything that happens there until then. So make sure you are subscribed and have that notification bell on. But alas, any good story about JD Vance getting humiliated by protesters while he's trying to go on a way too expensive vacation would not be complete unless JD Vance did something to utterly humiliate himself in the process. And shocker, folks, he did. And it is so funny because he really thought he ate with this one. He went on Fox News today and apparently thought he had found the Trump administration's new scapegoat to distract from the Epstein story. The Democrats.
Full transparency, but I have to say, Maria, I laugh at the Democrats who are now all of a sudden so interested in the Epstein files. For 4 years, Joe Biden and the Democrats did absolutely nothing about this story. We know that Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of connections with left-wing politicians and left-wing billionaires, and now President Trump has demanded full transparency from this, and yet somehow the Democrats are attacking him and not the Biden administration, which did nothing for 4 years.
Was it the right move for Comer to send subpoenas to the Clintons?
It absolutely was, and it drives home how, while the Democrats have tried to make this Epstein thing about anything but, the fact that Democrat billionaires and Democrat political leaders went to Epstein Island all the time, who knows what they did, but it's totally reasonable to ask these questions. What you saw in the House's subpoena is they are trying to investigate all of the things related to this particular case. I know a lot of Americans want answers. I certainly want answers. And I think James Comer and the team of the House, they're doing the right thing. And of course, we know that Clinton, or allegedly he went to the island 26 times, 28 times. Totally appropriate for Comer to be asking what was going on at that island.
All right, first of all, no, they're not. They're not doing shit about it. They're trying to hide Trump's names. And second of all, I've said this a million times, and most people on the left have. If the Clintons are in the Epstein files, which, hey, I kind of think Bill is, then let us know. Throw him in jail. I don't give a I don't have an unwavering dick-sucking attachment to a cult leader and think he's a god king and think that he can do no wrong. I don't give a who's in the files. Put him in jail. Democrat, Republican, independent, lizard person, if I care. Unlike you, JD Vance, and your regime who has tried to hide the fact that Donald Trump's name is in there. Why could that be? If it's so unsalacious and he was just high-fiving Jeffrey Epstein and congratulating him on his rapist activities and not being involved in them, then let us know. And thankfully, even in this crazy world where MAGA still supports these losers and idiots and PDF files, those comments drew ridicule from both sides of the aisle. You had Republican lawyer George Conroy writing, if that's so, then why aren't you releasing the files? Who's going to tell him? House Democratic Whip Catherine Carr quote, linking to an article with the headline, Justice Department told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files. And I really hope that stuff like this makes MAGA just pull their heads out of their rotund rectums as well and see that they are continually getting scammed by Republicans, by the MAGA party, by Donald Trump, by JD Vance, by this whole administration. I hesitate to even call it administration because it is a regime. Like, this is spending $11,000 a week of your taxpayer money on his vacation home so he can go stick his dick in a thick British cushion. Donald Trump has spent, what, millions of your taxpayer dollars on golf just in the last 200 days? But your Social Security, your Medicare should be cut so these billionaire, this guy who is the vice president because Peter Thiel wants to use Palantir to create a security state of techno-feudalism. Like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google JD Vance Peter Thiel. And I understand, like, I know I can be off-putting because I am very, very passionate about this stuff. And I often speak my mind, and it's often vulgar, and I frankly don't give a f. But one day, I really hope, I would love for a MAGA person to watch one of these videos or just to get the time to talk with them. I don't think I would break through because I think I'm too abrasive and I think I would just have too hard a time not calling them stupid and cussing them out to their faces. But I genuinely want to know, like, what is wrong with their prefrontal cortex that they don't see that they are getting continually scammed and that they are protecting PDF files and that no politicians, but especially Republicans, ever had, have, or will have their interests at heart, especially working class people. We used to say on this channel, like earlier this year, the only way things that Donald Trump and his regime were doing made sense was if he was working on behalf of a foreign actor like China or Russia, and he was working to destroy the US. And I still think that latter part is true. And I don't think these things are mutually exclusive, but I do think it's less that he is working to destroy the US on behalf of a foreign government. And I think it's more he is working to destroy this country on behalf of billionaires and corporations who want to make a techno-feudal state where they can mine your data and spy on you, and we can redistribute all of the wealth, as has been happening since Reagan, to the top 1%. And if you don't think that's the case, then I'm sorry, but you're not paying attention. Like, this story just came out today, too. Marjorie Taylor Greene explodes over report exposing her massive wealth jump. How does Marjorie Taylor Greene's net worth go from $700,000 before she started Congress to $21 million today? Your salary is only $174,000 per year. Well, I don't know, is it when she bought the dip of the entire American economy when Donald Trump committed blatant insider trading and told people when to buy after he crashed the stock market with his tariffs? I just can't. I'm sorry, I ranted again. I'll try and bleep out as many of the curses as I can, but yeah, well, JD Vance, all these people. Thank you to everyone over at on the other side of the pond that is doing the Lord's work out there and fighting fascism with us, because it's going to creep into your country too, and it already has in certain areas. But we appreciate all of your support, and we appreciate everyone watching this video. Thank you guys so much. Drop a like, subscribe to join our resistance and help fight back against this rampant fascism and just blatant corruption. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse. I will see you guys in the next one.